Here's a review of the 04 Lexus LS 430. It is a masterpiece. It's a car ahead of its time. It's a car that still holds its own today amongst the best vehicles being made. It exudes luxury, power, and comfortability. It is the LS 430. It is one of my dream cars, and it's been my honor today to spend a lot of time with it. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the comments below. Let's hit the intro. Guys, the exterior styling is one of the best Lexus has ever done. It is simple. For me, it looks like a older Mercedes-Benz in a lot of ways. Which is a direct competitor to, obviously, but let's just get into it. Let's just talk about this car. Let's not talk about its competitors, because this car, most of these 430s are running perfectly today as they were back when they were created, and a lot of their competitors are not. So it really has no competition. It outlasted the competition, this car. So these headlights are massive. So I believe in 04 they updated the headlights to an HID. So you have these nice HID headlights. They look really good. You have your fog lights there at the bottom. This is the grille that the old-time Lexus fans learn to love and fall in love with. Whereas the new ones, we have the spindle grille, which is a hate it or love it relationship. This one's just so reserved that it's not really exciting in any way, but man, it exudes class. That's what it does. Let's get around. So unfortunately, I mean, this car doesn't have many miles, 61,000 miles, but you can see what happens when you don't have, modern protection on there, like a chip guard or a rock guard. And so this car's been driven on the highway a lot, and you can see it just gets beat up here. Right there by the headlight display. The rest of the hood, though, is in very good condition overall. I mean, there's a few dents and dings there, but what do you expect? This car is 14 years old. These wheels are pretty uninspiring in my opinion, but yeah, I've seen these wheels in chrome, but I'd rather have these. I mean, the chrome ones look better on this car, but I'd rather have these ones because they are pretty maintenance free. I would have guessed they're like 18-inch wheels, 17-inch wheels, 225 by 55 17s on the wheels. So nothing jaw-dropping by today's standards. We'll just take a step back so you can see this full side profile of her. She looks good. She looks beautiful. She's aged well over the last 18 years. But this style, gosh, when did the LS 430 originally come out? It's not coming to me off the top of my head, but the sun just came out, and you can see, this beautiful paint job still holding up after, like I said, 14 years. It looks really good when the sun just came out and graced me with the beautiful paint color and the reflection. So we have a little bit of a chrome lining around the windows, which you still see in today's modern vehicles. You have a chrome trim around here all the way around the back of the car. The rear end, I like these rear taillights. I think they look really good. This car looks very plain from the back, but this car, you can see those freaking geese, man, just laying on the road taking poops and then laying in it, flapping their wings. This car looks really good. I love the dual exhaust. I think they did an A+ job there. This car, now looking at it from the back, it looks very streamlined. I don't remember the coefficient of drag. I'll have to put it up here in the video. But this car is extremely aerodynamic, one of the most aerodynamic cars ever made. So it gets like 30 miles per gallon or something on the highway, which is just crazy for a 6-speed 4.3 liter V8 making tons of horsepower. But let's get on the inside of the car. Oh, here's a small takeaway. I mean, this car's old. This should come out. You see this scratch or buff. It's not even a scratch, it's just like a top layer. It hasn't even cut into the clear coat or anything. How is it holding up down here? Okay, so you have some things down here, but once you clean this car, once it passes through detail, I mean, we have like 3 people that I know of interested in this car, and we just got it in last week. So this car is going to sell by the end of this week, maybe by the end of this weekend. It's just, you don't find these type of cars being made anymore. Obviously this particular model, but how they made cars back then, it's not loaded with a whole bunch of gimmicks, or, I mean, they tried to. I mean, you have the navigation in there, which is completely dated by today's standards, but it's not loaded with a bunch of crap that you're never going to use in your car that just distracts you. This car is almost, a lot of people say it's the epitome of Lexus. They say Lexus hasn't made a car quite like this with its refinement sense, but you know, that's why this car's a legend. This is the benchmark that all other cars should be held against, at least in some shape or fashion. This car does it all. Has good power. Inside is ultimately comfortable. The ride is perfect. I wouldn't change anything about how the car feels. The only thing I would change for modern terms would be equip it with all-wheel drive. But that's what the newer LSs are for. So, you know, I'm gonna put this video on pause here while I do a bunch of cookies in the rear wheel drive. Just kidding, I'm not. I would like to. It's not my car, but even if it was my car, I wouldn't, you know, I would treat her just as she wants to be treated. This car wants to be pampered because it pampers you. It's just a beautiful car, and I'm getting a little emotional right now, so I'm gonna have to make a cut. So just like the LX 470, there's a little button on the bottom here. You see that? You just pull it towards you. And here is the 3UZ FE, the legend. The LX that I was in, it had the 2UZ FE in it, and that was a 4.7 liter. So this is a 4.3 liter. It makes more horsepower than that 4.7 liter 2UZ FE, and it's a smaller engine. So this is one of the best engines Lexus has ever made, and that's saying something because just about every single engine they made is extraordinarily reliable, good power, and it lasts the test of time. So I like how accessible the battery is, and modern cars are not always that accessible. It has a Lexus of Omaha battery still on it. I don't know how old that battery is, but that's pretty cool. Could have came with the car. You see here, you know, the engine cover is perfect. It lets you know it's a V8, and this is absolutely perfect for what I'm looking for when I'm open up a hood. I want to see, hey, what kind of engine is it? Oh, awesome! It's a 3UZ FE. And they, you know, of course, it has a variable valve timing with intelligence. Date replaced. So last time there was maintenance, 7/23/18. That was just a couple days ago. They did the maintenance on this car. So timing belt replacement was just made. It was just made. So this car is ready to rock and roll for about 300,000 more miles. Let's get on the inside of the legendary LS 430. I need to adjust the seat real quick. Oh, that's good. That's good. Look on the window. Okay, we have this yellow-orange type of wood. It's definitely dated. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a very high-quality wood, but man, it's a little... I can live with it, but it's a little too yellow-orange for my liking. We have 3 memory settings here for the seats. You have automatic seatbelt button here. Nice little feature. All automatic windows. So as you can see, guys, this is a 2004, so you can kind of see how this leather's holding up here. It's just a little dirty. That can be cleaned up. Everything on the door is holding up pretty well. It is plastic down here, and then we have cloth covered speaker covers. So sometimes that's plastic, that's actually cloth covered here. The seat controls down by my hand, I'm still adjusting them. They're pretty straightforward. What we have down here, guys, push to lock, unlock, that must be for your trunk. And then you have obviously your gas cap, a huge your park brake would be here. Don't ask me what this button is. I have no idea, there's no label on it. auto folding mirrors. Let's see if they still work. Oh, the car probably has to be on, so I'm just going to leave it on automatic. This does have parking assist, which is pretty cool for an 04. Steering wheel here. Let's just put these odd keys. Look how odd this key is. We're going to put it in. And when I just put it in without twisting it, the steering wheel went ahead and adjusted. And I don't like it where it's at. So the controls are working very, very well. Let's fire her on. You have to push down and then twist the key. Fires up just perfect. The V8 comes to life. You can see for an 04, guys, this only has 61,000 miles. If I had, I don't know, 15,000, I don't know what they're going to sell this car for, but if I had, you know, cash laying around, I would buy this car straight up. It's in great condition. It's hard to find an old LS 430 with this kind of mileage on it, and it's in good condition overall. Temperature. So they put the dual climate control here on the side of the dash. I guess that's an interesting place to put it. It's pretty easy to get to. I'm gonna turn the fans off here. And with this era of vehicle, the fans are probably, yeah, they're touch control, which I dislike very much. Okay, it's already on low. That actually, no, now it is. But we're gonna go back to the map. Very similar to the LX that I was in. It might be the exact same. The LX 470, which is actually over there, guys. You can see it. You can see it right there. She's a beauty. We might be taking that down to Kansas City today for some training. But Mark Levinson stereo. It's probably going to sound excellent. This has ventilated and heated seats. Let's see what's in behind all these mystery holes down here. Okay. CD changer. It's nice that you can cover that because no one uses it anymore. You have your traction control. All right. So here is, I don't know, pocket knife holder. That's what I would probably put in there. Headlight cleaner, as well as your automated control for the sunshade. Traction control here. So you have different types of traction control up here. And then your standard traction control, over here. Let's see about this rear sunshade. As expected, it works perfectly. Let's put it back up. We do have these seat options here, so if I'm having a baller VIP in the back, I can move the seat for him with these controls right there. Pretty nice feature. Did we open this one, guys? This car has not been cleaned. We just got it in, and I'm like, oh, I got to get in here. So we got a 12 volt in there. You're not going to find any USBs or anything in here. Okay, I kind of like this. So we have another 12 volt down there. Pretty small, but usable cubby. And then this little tray slides with the lid of this armrest. Very comfortable armrest. Probably one of the most comfortable armrests I've ever put my arm on. So we have display 1. What does that mean? Oh, it changes this up here. So tank average, sensory fuel, elapsed time, average speed. You can turn it off. I'm pressing display 2 and nothing's going on. So we'll just keep it on range. Your cruise control is down here. Now this car actually has radar cruise control. What the heck? The fans are oscillating. I've never seen that in a car. I'm sure you can turn that off, but that's like tripping me out. So we have a lot of buttons over here. This is obviously going to control the radio. You have your volume buttons here. Volume down, volume up here. Set. Now, I don't know what the set means. Maybe you can set a preset there. And then on the back, you have almost like triggers. I don't know. I guess if you're holding the steering wheel like this, you can touch them. And that's your voice control, which I'm not even gonna show you how bad that is, because even in our modern Lexus cars, they're not as good as they should be. And then you have a phone button there. So very odd placement of those buttons. You can't even see them. Checking out on this side. So here's my perspective. So I can barely see this cruise control. So You have to like slide over in the seat to be able to see the cruise control. And then it would be hard to see obviously the mode, but once you get familiar with the vehicle, you're not going to be looking at what the button says, but I think it is important for first impressions, and when you're getting in this car for the first time, just knowing where everything is. These seats are very comfortable. They've held up pretty well. I mean, this car's like 14 years old, so they've held up pretty well. In my driver's seat, there is a little bit of a denim stain, and that happens in sometimes in these lighter color leathers. If you wear a lot of jeans, the jeans dye will like transmute onto the chair, unfortunately. But let's look at the glove box. Wow, that's the best glove box I've ever seen in my entire life. Tons of space here, a shelf here, and then another cubby underneath of it. Nice freaking job, Lexus. Nice freaking job. But that's about it. Let's get into the back seat. Let's hop into the back. Super comfortable, tons of room. So the seat, I remember how I was adjusting the seat earlier. The seat is adjusted for a 6'1" person. We got some soft touch plastic here on the back of the seat. This is leather all the way up in here. Leather the back of the headrest as well. Down here, a little mat pocket, nothing special, but I have a lot of leg room, guys, a ton of leg room. We have another 12 volt back here, but of course, most of the time they didn't call them 12 volts, they called them cigar lighters or cigarette lighters back in the day. Because if you pull it out, some of you guys might not know you have a cigarette lighter. All right, let's shove that back in. All right, pretty simple vents back here. Unfortunately, they're not like the oscillating ones, which are still going. That's just blowing my mind. So back on the Mark Levinson, we have a tweeter here, another cloth covered speaker cover down here. Ashtray, right, for your cigars and cigarettes. Automatic window for the back person. Leather's held up very well back here. And a plastic magazine holder down at the bottom. Folding this down here, it looks like we have a pass-through for the trunk. Is that open? It is open. But it looks like you would have to open it from the other side as well. Or I'm not gonna mess with. Oh, what is this? What? So this button, obviously I missed it, but it says push, and that's how you access the trunk. What? Did it just magnetically stay up? Did I see that right? It does. This little hatch magnetically stays up. That's crazy. Don't ask me what this string is. It's probably something in the trunk, but we're gonna close that. What's inside the armrest? Heated seat buttons. Heck yeah, for 2004. And then we have your adjustable cup holders, and then a nice little storage container here. But that sums it up for the most part here in the back seat. The trunk is not automatic. Oh, and it is heavy, and these shocks probably need to be replaced. So looking down here, this is a very large trunk. It's reminiscent of my Avalon, my 04 Avalon. You can see the pass-through right back there. We have the first aid kit over here on the right. Your net here, your cargo net, so you could put, this is the first time I've seen it like this, where you would put stuff underneath of it, but that's kind of cool. Over here must be some sort of toolkit that slides in there. Let's discover what's in here, guys. A plier? What? You get a pliers? And this guy didn't put it in correctly. Now those pliers felt a little cheap. What the heck? Let me see if I can get these pliers in. Okay, so they were put in upside down. That's why they didn't fit in there in the first place. A couple wrenches, obviously. I can't even think of the word, your wrench of some sort, your lug nut connector to loosen your lug nuts. And then we have, is this a flashlight? I don't know. If you guys know what that is, let me know, but that looks pretty cool. And then we're just gonna close this up. So that's a nice little toolbox that they give you inside the car. Let it slide right back in. Boom, shakalaka. But that's it for the trunk. It's huge. It's time, guys. It's time to drive the LS430. I've been dreaming of this moment for a long time. It's one of my favorite, as you guys know, because I've probably said it 18 times already. It's one of my favorite Lexus vehicles in terms of style, reliability, just great design overall. I've always wanted to get into one of these vehicles, drive it, and tell you my impressions. So we're gonna wait for this car to pass, then we're gonna rock and roll. Okay, it's coming in. I'm gonna back up. So this the backup camera. Okay, that just blew my mind. So when I put it in reverse, guys, not only does this car have a backup camera, it's an 04, that's kind of cool, but the rear sunshade, oh, you can see it. You can see it. So when I put it in reverse, the rear sunshade went down, and then when I put it back in drive, it came back up. That's pretty crazy engineering right there. Very impressive, and the car is feeling like just like I expected it to in terms of drive feel, and I'll get into that more here in a second. I'm going to accelerate in front of this Honda Odyssey. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, he got stopped at the light anyways. Mirror adjustment. Is the mirror really not working? This is the first time I've seen... Is it like locked or something? The mirrors aren't working. The power mirrors are not working. And I don't know why that is. Just wanted to let you guys know I did get the mirrors to work. There wasn't any trick or anything to get them to work. What happened is my guess is that this car's been sitting so long and the mirrors haven't been used probably in like 10 years. The same person probably just drove the car and never adjusted the mirrors, which is fine. But I got I was a little persistent on the mirror buttons, and the motors eventually cooperated and the mirrors started moving. So I kind of had to like press it like this a little bit, and both mirrors freed up, and I was able to move them and get them in the right spot. So let's roll into the V8. Jerry! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So you can drive this car like a complete grandpa, and the car will let you. It's not going to try to make you drive like anything else. But when I just put the pedal down, it downshifted twice, which, how many gears? There's 6 gears in this car. It downshifted twice, and it just rocket shipped. To me, it was more exciting than the LS460. And that car has a lot more power than this. It has like maybe 80 more horsepower or something. But this car, man, it took off real quick. The engine noise was awesome. I love the engine noise. I don't know if you guys can, well, that was a Harley right there farting through the underpass. But I'm going to get into the throttle again here, guys, and I'm going to be quiet. So it was one of the coolest. It was like a high-pitched induction noise. So here we go. Floor it. 3, 2, 1, go. It's not the fastest car, but man, it feels so smooth, it's so right. It feels perfect for what it is. It's not quite as exhilarating as, the LS 500. Like, of course, that car has over 400 horsepower. This car has less than 300. But man, this car feels so planted here on the freeway. It's very quiet, as you would expect for Lexus. Extraordinarily quiet, A+ there. How this car rides is so smooth. So smooth. It's similar to, I would say, our ES, but on a whole nother level in terms of smoothness. So Lexus hit out of the park with this car. This steering wheel, guys, now I've showed you it on the video already, but it is enormous. It is huge. I feel like I'm driving a bus. But this is a car you could drive for 40 hours and straight and not have any issues, as long as you can stay awake. I'm just being a little hyperbolic right now, but it is one of the most comfortable cars I've been in. One of the most quiet cars. There's hardly any road noise. And the power, guys, once you get into it, it just takes off like a rocket. Right now, it feels like I'm going like 40 miles an hour. I'm going 60. But since this car is so quiet and so reserved and so well-mannered on the road, it feels like I'm going 40 miles an hour, no joke. And I don't say that lightly because I drive a lot of cars, and most of the time it feels like you're going the speed in which you're going. This car feels like I'm in a different time-space continuum where I'm going 60, but it feels like I'm going 40. It's just that's the vibe this car gives. That's just so comforting. Okay guys, we're gonna do a quick little 0 to 60-ish here. I'm gonna roll into the throttle. I'm going super slow because I'm gonna catch up to the RX 330 in front of me. Here we go. There's 60. Okay, that was going uphill. Now a brake test. So I don't like the smell of this diesel that this freaking semi that just passed me is putting off, so we're gonna do something about it. Heck yeah. So this car just went from 60 to 80. You feel the power, like I said, it's not that much on paper nowadays. I mean, our RX probably makes more power than this, but it doesn't feel like it because, let me get off, lane change. It doesn't feel like it because this car's so smooth, so well behaved, and the power is just transmitted instantly to the wheels, it feels like. But we're getting to our brake test now. So we're getting into our brake test. Goodness gracious. Unfortunately, I can't really test the brakes as much as I would like to because this Tahoe, 3 cars in front of me, rode the brakes all the way down the off-ramp. But so far the brakes right there were very smooth, linear. There wasn't a whole lot of dead space in the pedal. It's pretty much immediate when you get onto it. And it feels really good. So I'd give it a B plus or an A on there for the brakes. Okay, we're gonna roll into the throttle here again. It's just so smooth, guys. Is it one of the smoothest cars I've been in? Absolutely. Yeah, the brakes feel great. I got on them pretty hard there. The brakes, I'd give them an A on the brakes. But let's go in the handling. Since this car is so posh and calm and reserved and just relaxing, we're gonna put it through the business here on the turns and see how it holds up. Just the steering wheel, I love how much the top is covered in wood. Okay, here we go in the hairpin. So, okay, just a little bit of body roll, and it's very acceptable for how comfortable this car is on the road. So if they would have made this car handle a little bit better, you wouldn't get the same road composure in a straight line. What are the geese doing? Guys, I'm gonna take you off the mount so you can, if the seatbelt lets me. What are the geese doing? Do you see them? How many? There's 2, 4, 6. There's like 9 geese, and they're all standing on the road. Gosh, geese are such weird creatures. They're beautiful in their own strange way. But we've arrived at our final destination, which will finish up the review. Thank you for sticking around so far. That sums it up for the beautiful 04, the legend itself, the LS430. Let me know what you guys think about this car, your thoughts, maybe your experience with it. I'd love to hear about it. One day, I'd like to have one of these. And today might be that day, because today I am one with this car, and it's been an amazing experience, and I'm so glad that I got to spend some time with this legendary vehicle. I'll see you guys in the next review. All right, let's see what the geese are gonna do when we drive straight at them. This will be entertaining. I don't want to drive over the poop though. That's the thing. There's so much poop on the road, and that's what I don't miss about Florida, guys, if you live in Florida, there's ducks and geese, or I don't even know if they have geese. There are ducks everywhere in Florida that just poop all over the sidewalks and the streets. Anyways,